Hey everybody, welcome to Always Bored, Never Boring. Today we are going to be looking at Monster Pack C for Fireteam Zero. Continuing that imaginative naming convention we've got going on there. Yes, Monster Pack C, featuring this guy. One of those voodoo dolls from the Blair Witch Project. Yeah. Unlike the first two packs, this pack actually contains minions. In fact, what you get in the pack, you get 4 minions for the Fetch family. The Marrow Fetch, you get 1 Fetch Elite, and then, a little bit randomly, you get a Splinter Fiend, which is an Elite for the Thornspawn family, which comes from the Africa Cycle expansion. So, these guys go with the Fetch family from the base game, and then just this fella on his own goes with the Thornspawn family, which is a slightly unusual mix. Not least because minions come in 8s in the families, so there isn't enough here to completely replace the little wee skeleton baby fellas that are the minions in the base game. The little wee skeleton baby fellas, because I can't remember what they're actually called. Bone fetches, I think. I want to say bone fetches. Little skeletons on fire. But yeah, so you can't use this box to replace the entire set of minions, unless you're playing with less than 4 heroes, of course. But if you're playing a 4-player game and you would normally have 8 minions on the board, then this pack isn't enough to replace them all. But you can replace half of them with Marrow Fetches, and you can replace one of the elites, if you want to, with an Exhumed Fetch. That's a nice piece of artwork. I like that. Right. First of all, we have the Marrow Fetch. It's like a wee sort of wild boar, well, bits of a wild boar, bits of a deer of some kind, some human skulls for feetsies. Yeah, it's just a hodgepodge, a mishmash of bits of bodies, decomposing flesh and skulls. Look, its spinal column is just a bunch more skulls. So many skulls, Games Workshop might sue. Who knows? Yeah, it's quite cool. Yeah, it's just a mangy beast. Yeah, and yeah, so this is a minion. Minion for the Fetch family. So obviously much weaker than the elites. It only takes 2 wounds to kill it. It's quite resistant to taking a beating. So it can take a punch, not so much with bullets and bombs. Bombs are always a good way to deal with skeleton type things. It's got a really interesting special ability. When you roll the activation dice, if you get the cup symbol, his attack becomes 3 brawl, so it gets stronger. It goes up from 2 brawl to 3 brawl, but it becomes range 0. So normally he's got range 1, so he can attack heroes in adjacent spaces. Suddenly it becomes range 0. So yeah, if he's got into your space, he's gonna charge you. He's gonna do more damage. But if he didn't get to you, he can't actually attack you. But what is interesting is that then plays into his Spectral Howl ability. If a Marrow Fetch cannot attack after moving, all heroes within range 1 take 1 unblockable damage. So, yeah, he just howls in rage because he didn't get to bite you, and that causes damage too. So, it's quite interesting. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. If he gets up in your grill, he's going to hurt you. If he doesn't, he's going to hurt you. Best just to stay away from him, really. Which is a good advice, I would say, for any creature made of decomposing bodies and bits of bone and fire. Stay clear. Speaking of decomposing bits of body, Here is the exhumed fetch, and this is one of the nastiest concepts, I would say, in the game. Again, it's decomposing bodies all strapped together, but it's just the nature of it is just vile. Look, it's got a decomposing head up here. There's a body strapped across here. There's an arm strapped over here. This is several the limbs, basically several arms all strapped together. Yeah, it's got extra arms coming out. It's got bones and stuff everywhere. It's a horrible, gross lump of decomposing skin. It's unpleasant. And as you can imagine, he's a bit of a lumbering brute. Here's his card. He is an elite, so you can use him to replace one elite from in your game, or use him in custom scenarios, whatever you want to do. Again, like with the other monster packs, there's no specific guidelines for how to use these models. You just use the whole plug and play nature of the game to make the game what you want. Put whatever monsters you want into the fight, or use the mission generator cards if you've got them to create your own scenarios and things like that. Which is it's what the game's all about, really. It's very, very modular, and if you've got a lot of the different things, which I should point out, I do have a lot of the different things because I was sent them by Emergent Games, and so yeah, this unboxing and mini review comes to you courtesy of the team at Emergent Games. But yeah, so that it's quite a cool little game in that regard, and it's very modular. You can do what you want with it. This guy doesn't do well against bombs. Again, you know, if you've got a great big mass of putrid decomposing flesh stomping towards you, lob a grenade at it. Cup ability. Attack affects one additional hero in the target's location if possible. So yeah, he's a bit of splash damage, but not full splash damage. It's a bit odd, that ability. Yeah, bit odd. Necrotic stench. This is interesting because a hero must discard 2 cards before moving into an exhumed fetch's location. So again, it's encouraging you not to get too close to him. But then his weakness is to bombs anyway, which you wouldn't want to be in his space trying to bomb him anyway because of splash damage. So it's slightly unusual that his ability is something that sort of says, yeah, stay back, and yet his resistances are also things that say, yeah, stay back. And in fact, his range, he doesn't have range on his attack either, so he wants you to be in his space. So I don't really understand that combination of. Maybe someone can explain it to me. But it seems to be that he would want to be in he would want you to be in your space, and there should be some benefit for getting in there into his space that I don't know. Because you're discarding those cards when you move into his space, not when he moves into yours. I don't know. Slightly odd. But then, you know, what do you expect from a great big lump of decomposing flesh? It's slightly odd. And speaking of slightly odd, give us a cuddle. Go on, give us a cuddle. Go on. I don't have a wooden heart. God, jeez, it's late. I'm talking nonsense. I like this model. It's really cool. It's really weird. It's creepy because it's kind of like a sentient tree, but it's sort of all the vines are bound together to create a sort of alien insect type shape. It looks a little bit like a praying mantis going on a little bit here, and yeah, and there's something just about it's sort of like almost like a horse-like head. But yeah, it's just it's a very unsettling thing. I find trees unsettling anyway. Yeah, that's a weird omission, but admission. Sorry, omission. A weird admission. Yeah, I find trees quite unsettling. They give me the creeps a little bit. It's not a phobia. I'm not like terrified of trees and go into a panic attack every time I see a tree. But certain trees, particularly older trees with gnarly roots and trees that have been like struck by lightning and things like that, and the kind of trees you can see faces in, and the kind of trees that when it starts to get a little bit dark and you can hear them creaking and moving, and and they sometimes feel like they're a little bit closer to you than they used to be. Yeah, I'm not keen on that. So the Thornspawn family I find a little bit creepy, a little bit unsettling. Here's his card. Yeah, no resistance to bomb damage. Yeah, he's pretty straightforward. His activation dice ability is the attack range is increased by 1, which is really good because it was 1 to start with. So he's got some good range on him. He's got lashing vines and things like that. Are gonna, it's not nice. A little bit unpleasant. And he's got the parasitic graft, which when a Splinter Fiend is killed, remove a minion within range 1 instead if possible and replace it with the Splinter Fiend. So he's replacing a minion and staying in the fight. So really tough to get them off the board, and that's kind of quite in keeping with the Thornspawn family, which they are sort of an implacable foe. They're very tough, they're very resilient, they stick around and they just keep coming at you. Yeah, so that's what they do. And so yeah, this is a difficult elite to deal with. You have to lure them away from all the minions and then take them down, and try not to get all smashed up by vines and things in the meantime. Nasty piece of work and difficult to deal with. And that's it. So yeah, there's only 3 different types of monster in the pack: the 4 minions and the 2 elites. I don't know whether that's better or worse than having more different types of elite, or whether it's better to have half a minion family to bring into your games. I don't know. I like them though. I like these monsters. I think the Fetch family is gross, and like I say, the Thornspawn family I find particularly creepy. So it's nice to have another one of those guys hanging around. Nice, probably not the right word, but there we go. That's it. We've got one more box left to look at, and then that will be that. So I hope this has been interesting, and I hope you'll join me again for Monster Pack D.